You're listening to a Mamma Mia podcast.
Mamma Mia acknowledges the traditional owners of land and waters that this podcast is recorded on. Hello and welcome to Cancelled, the lazy girl's guide to bizarre celebrity cancellations. I'm Claire Stevens.
And I'm Jessie Stevens.
And today's episode does not do what I just introduced our podcast as.
Shit.
Okay? It's one where we virtually choose someone who's uncancelable, but for the lols. Actually, that's a lie. It kind of does go into things that are a bit cancelling.
I've seen him get in trouble. I've seen him get in trouble. He's not untouchable.
Well,
Anyone who's famous is being concurrently cancelled. Everyone knows that.
Always. But I will say, it makes me sad that culturally, the people who seem uncancelable, that's usually just code for men.
Yes, and we will say, data point, just to put on the table here, a bit of an insight into the BTS. No one ever asked for this, but we love doing it. It's a bit pervy. Women who are uncancelled
Perform better than men.
perform enormously better than men.
Because women, allegedly, are fun to hate.
Yeah, they're a lot more fun to hate than we do a man. And everyone's like, he seems fine.
He's just doing his best. What? Men are allowed to be complex and eccentric and fuck up, but have it still fold into who they are as humans, whereas women, people just find them a little bit annoying for reasons they can't articulate. That reason is usually misogyny.
Yes.
You are about to enter the cancelled courtroom. The defendants are celebrities. The charges are petty. The rulings are final.
Now, I have been down an Andrew Garfield rabbit hole.
I want Andrew Garfield to smash a laptop on my tits. That's good.
Andrew Garfield,
okay.
You too have a Spice Girls connection. No, I don't. Yes, you do. Where are you getting this information? Didn't a lovely lady, didn't she ask you out through the medium of the Spice Girls music?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
How did you know that?
You must have told somebody.
Only my deeply intimate friends.
Andrew Garfield is thick and woke to the best things to be. If I am in fact thick, my God, that's the dream. Because when I was a kid, I was I was a streak of piss, as you might say.
I'm not visibly on social media. I have a couple of secret accounts watching you all talk your shit.
My first kiss, I also kissed 16 other people that same night.
I like him.
It started with his chicken shop date.
Did I just friend zone this situation?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Unless that's what you want.
No, I don't know what I want.
Okay. You haven't got to know what you want.
You have my number.
Do I?
Yes.
I
You
do.
asked for my number at a party.
I did.
Which we'll get to. But then there was something deeper. Now, Jessie, I host another podcast called
What?
But Are You Happy?
Oh.
Which is very different to this show, tone-wise. And we talk about meaning and purpose and emotions.
Not
and
enough lols in my
No,
opinion.
and the very heavy reality of the human experience. And a few
I
listeners
didn't
of
realise
that...
we were just going to give But Are You Happy a plug
well,
on my watch.
Well, a few listeners of that show were messaging me being like, you have to listen to this podcast with Andrew Garfield. It would be right up your alley.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. And it's an episode of Modern Love, where the idea is that it's part interview, part someone reading a modern love essay from the New York Times. And
I've seen clips of this, but I haven't actually watched it.
highly, highly recommend. It is beautiful.
My wife hasn't worn a bikini for 6 years and probably never will again. She says she's too old, which makes me sad. She's a beautiful woman with grey in her hair. My parents no longer drive at night, sorry.
When you feel less like giggling and more like contemplating the very essence of our existence, go listen to it. But I do actually feel quite emotionally connected to Andrew Garfield. So I'm
Okay.
just putting that on the table.
That's an important preface. Yeah.
Yes, it's about grief and longing and love and the idea of accepting how limited we are in our time on Earth.
Okay, what I'm going to bring right now is that he's friends with Jamie Dornan, okay?
Yeah. Oh, what a hot friendship
I know.
duo.
He's actually in a really hot friendship group.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Who else?
I read about it.
I feel like he's semi-friends with Tom Holland just because
Sounds
they're
right.
both British and they both played Spiderman. Tom Holland is a little bit younger.
Hang on, let me find who else because
Jamie Dornan is another man I connect
I'm
with.
looking at a photo because everyone says he's got a really hot group of friends.
Okay.
Jamie Dornan is one of them. I guess they're from like the same corner of the world. And they both have accents.
Not really. Andrew Garfield grew up in Surrey, whereas Jamie Dornan
obviously
grew up in Northern Ireland, Belfast. Yes.
But what I am seeing in this picture is that he is with Lin-Manuel Miranda, so I'm going to assume they were also very close friends. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's friends with Lin-Manuel because he was in Tick, Tick, Boom. Ugh. Anyway, on to the lols.
He was also pictured with Bo Burnham.
That is
on a double date.
That is a very hot group of men. Mm-hmm. Andrew Russell Garfield.
Didn't see that coming.
No. We're all shocked by the Russell. He's a very sexy boy.
Speaking of Garfield, we did a thing recently. We played this game where everyone had to put a name into a hat, and then you had to guess who would put it in. So, like, you might put in Jennifer Lopez or you might put in Anthony Albanese. Someone put in Garfield. Fuck, it got me. Oh, like Garfield the cat.
Yeah.
It was so random.
Yeah.
I could not guess who'd done it.
Yeah, Garfield.
Like someone I hadn't thought about in a while, as Hamish and Andy say, fucking Garfield the cat.
Yes. Yeah, what was Garfield? Was it meant to be funny? Anyway.
No.
Andrew Garfield has been in movies like The Social Network, The Amazing Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he played Spider-Man, Hacksaw Ridge, Never Let Me Go, great film. He was very young. Tick, Tick, Boom, which I really want to see.
So he's a good singer, right?
Oh, he can sing. He's amazing.
Yeah, right.
Flawless. And Tick, Tick, Boom was directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
That's who his other friend is. His other friend was in Les Mis, Eddie Redmayne. That's the other whole friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a lovely group of men. Garfield became interested in acting at the age of 16 when a friend convinced him to take theatre studies for his A-levels, which is the equivalent of like HSC, ATAR, as they were one student short of being able to run the class. And you just know that friend is like, I could have been Andrew Garfield if I had just asked Boris to join the acting class instead.
Yeah, but instead I asked Andrew Garfield.
You know when you're like...
And he walked in and just was a full thespian.
Yeah. You know when you're like, hey, Tali, come join the netball team. And then Tali's the best person on the netball team. And you're like, well, that wasn't fucking meant to happen.
Fuck Tali,
that wasn't meant to happen.
Yeah.
You were meant to just be a fill-in.
Yeah.
Now you're better than me, which is not difficult. My structure for today is as follows. Spider-Man. Method acting. A meet cute ×2. The most romantic date of all time. And the moment the internet broke. Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was cast as Peter Parker in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Is that a knife? Is that a real knife?
Yes, it's a real knife.
My weakness, it's small knives.
Wasn't my Spider-Man
was Tobey Maguire?
Yes. Okay.
Yes. But I am a big fan of every single Spider-Man film. I think.
Yeah, you can't watch Spider-Man enough.
No.
I feel like
it's a shared interest of me and my husband's.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit one note.
No.
It's like you get bit by a spider and it stresses me out having your web.
No.
And then you do the web thing and it sticks to places.
Yeah.
And then you just Spider-Man, you save things and you go up against a goblin. Like I just feel as though every film has the same pace.
Sometimes there's an Emma Stone, sometimes there's a Kirsten Dunst, sometimes there's a Zendaya. You just never know.
Was his Emma Stone?
Emma Stone, and they fell in love.
Yeah, I thought so.
And they dated for years.
Yeah.
They were together for quite a while and they were a bit on and off. But even last year, he went to the premiere of Poor Things and there's a video of the moment she spots him in the audience and is really excited.
Okay, she's married with a child. Continue.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that they're still on good terms, or what does that say? Anywho, he said many times that he had worn Spider-Man costumes when he was 3. And he studied the movements of athletes and spiders to get into the part and did yoga and Pilates. That first movie, well received. Things are looking great. He's meant to be in like a slew of Spider-Man movies, right? He's meant to be the next Spider-Man after Tobey Maguire.
I love the visual of him studying spiders. Just in a gutter, just crouching in a gutter.
Look at this one.
Yeah, that's
and then
inspiring. But you know it's just sitting there or scurrying, which I don't know how you
does that help?
imitate that.
Is that helping your practice?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Then The Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out in 2014. And it's got mixed critical reviews. And while it does very well at the box office, in terms of the franchise, it's like a box office low.
Okay.
Yeah. So Spider-Man
lowest?
It's just not
one
that.
of the lowest.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
it's not Kirsten Dunst and Tobey Maguire kissing upside down. It's
no.
not.
Now, he was meant to be in future installments of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But they went in a different direction, casting Tom Holland.
Oh, I think I've seen a Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Zendaya. Now, you might remember the infamous Sony hack of 2014 where they leaked a whole bunch of emails.
Yep.
Well, the then head of Sony was mad at Andrew Garfield because he didn't turn up for an event in Brazil where The Amazing Spider-Man 3 was meant to be announced because he was sick. The email read, "Here we are about 1 hour away from our gala and Andrew decides he doesn't want to attend. He has a rather scruffy beard and he just wants to be left alone." So that email got leaked by the head of Sony.
He's sick, he's sick.
The man's
Don't leave
sick.
the beard alone.
I know. I have to say, when
I'll
my
defend the beard.
when my husband isn't well, he looks awful.
Oh, I've always said it about your husband, actually. He does not wear sickness or tiredness well.
No. In a 2016 interview with The Guardian, Garfield was asked if he was fired from the role after that, after
Having a
being a
sick
bit
day.
naughty and not coming to the Brazil thing. And he said, "No, I don't think so. What I'll proudly say is that I didn't compromise who I was only ever myself." And that might have been difficult for some people.
You weren't yourself, you're a spider.
Yeah. Wincy. He told the Daily Beast in 2014, "I think what happened was through the pre-production, production and post-production, when you have something that works as a whole and then you start removing portions of it because there was even more of it than was in the final cut and everything was related."
I have no idea what you're talking
You
about,
start-
Andrew, but you're sounding very Dakota Johnson on Madam Web. And the through line? Spiders.
Spider movies.
Spider movies.
Send us a bit cuckoo.
Yeah.
He said once you start removing things and saying, no, that doesn't work, then the thread is broken.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
spidery.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go with the flow of the story. What he was saying, he was making a comment on the creative process, right? Which is, you've got this great story, Spider-Man, how can it go wrong?
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to say, throughout the production process, it can go wrong. We've got some plot holes, we've got some weirdness,
Yeah.
and maybe he's saying The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was not a work of art.
Do we think Spider-Man's done?
Absolutely no, which I will get to.
I feel as though...
No, you always think it's done and then there's a new Spider-Man and then you go to see it at the movies and it is excellent. It is highly entertaining.
Okay.
In one of Variety's Actors on Actors sessions, he admitted that he was heartbroken by the experience of not getting cast in future Spider-Mans.
I don't think he's spidery. I look at Tobey Maguire, spidery. I look at Tom Holland.
Yeah, he's little and
spidery.
spidery.
Andrew Garfield, and maybe it's because I'm thinking of the cat, but he's more catty.
Well, this was actually criticism. People said he was too hot.
He's
to be
too
Spider-Man.
hot. He's a bit snaky. He's long and he's thin.
Yeah.
And that's not what Spider-Man is.
Okay. I disagree, but it is a criticism. He told Amy Adams, "I signed up to serve the story and serve this incredible character that I've been dressing as since I was 3, and then it gets compromised and it breaks your heart. I got heartbroken a little bit." Tom Holland, who took over the role, has since said that he regrets not calling Garfield after being named as the new Spider-Man. And what I love about this story is that if this were women,
Oh, yeah, bitch fight.
there'd be a cat fight,
Yep.
and it would be Sex in the City, who hates who, you took her role, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
But because it's men, we allow them the dignity
Yeah.
of peace and
Yes,
privacy.
Yes.
Tom Holland,
They're all adults.
well, they're all
I'm
adults,
sure
and
fine.
sometimes life goes this way.
Yeah. Oh, so no drama there. They just need to have a chat. And they will. They'll move on. Kim Cattrall, on the other hand, absolute bit. Not really.
Tom Holland said, "I was 19 when I got cast. I was so caught up in getting the role that I never took any time to think about what it must have been like for him. If I'd made my second movie and it didn't necessarily deliver in the way it should have done and they recast me, I would really struggle to bounce back. Andrew bounced back in the most unbelievable way. I just wish I'd called him and said, I can't turn down this opportunity."
The man wasn't a believable spider. Cry me a river. He's got more opportunities. It's fine.
He's fine. And, of course, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland all united for Spider-Man No Way Home in 2021.
Is that a film?
Which, have you not seen it?
Who the hell are you?
I'm Peter Parker.
That's not possible.
I am Spider-Man in my world. But then yesterday, I was just here.
Jesse?
I don't go and see
Jesse?
spider films at the bloody movies.
Outstanding cinema. The scene...
How can they all coexist?
Because there were different universes. It was the multiverse. Blah, blah, blah. They're in a room and the three of them are dressed as spiders and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's so funny.
Are
It
they
was
doing
really
their thing?
funny.
Their thing?
Yeah, and it's super meta and self-referential.
Phallic?
No, it was
No.
really funny having the three of them.
Okay. Sounds fun.
Their dynamic was great.
I think in those films sometimes you can see in the eyes of the people playing the characters,
not
I don't want
Spiderman.
to be in this film.
Not Spiderman.
I saw a movie recently with some superhero thing. I had to watch it. The look in Paul Rudd's eyes
Oh, he
was
knows
I have
Ant-Man.
sold out.
That's the end of
Ant-Man.
That's the end of his tether.
Yeah.
No, but Spider-Man, different story.
Friends, we are doing a live event, cancelled live at the University of Sydney. You can come and see us in real life at the Alumni Festival, the University of Sydney, on Saturday, November the 30th.
The event is free, but you have to register for tickets. So we'll pop a link in our show notes for that. It's just so lazy, girl, that we don't expect you to pay.
We would never.
No.
Well, we shouldn't say never because one day we might like to profit.
But not now. Today is not that day.
I think it's going to be quite almost an emotional event because you and I both went, the last time we were at Sydney Uni.
Was when we were at Sydney Uni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was when I was graduating. We were studying there.
Yeah.
We were doing all of our courses in celebrities.
Yeah, we studied a degree in pop culture cancellations. We didn't.
They don't offer that. They don't.
Is
they
not
offer
offered.
very good degrees. There are a bunch of other events happening across the day. They're not just putting the festival on for us.
They might be.
They might be. Would we call ourselves headliners? No, because Dr. Carl's going to be there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh no,
There
I'm
are
starstruck.
some brilliant events on. Go and have a look. It is University of Sydney, November the 30th. See you there.
Method acting. The man is a fan of method acting. And he's got in trouble before for playing into stereotypes when he's going method. In 2017, he was cast as Prior Walter in the play Angels in America at the National Theatre in London. He was nominated for the Laurence Olivier Award for the role. But there was controversy because his character is a gay man with AIDS and Garfield is a straight man. He was criticised for taking the role when people said it should have gone to a member of the LGBTQI community.
Was Matthew McConaughey criticised for Dallas Buyers Club?
I think so.
It wasn't very loud. Maybe it was just a different time.
A different time.
Yeah.
And that criticism snowballed when Garfield was asked how he prepared for the role. And in an interview, he said he'd watched documentaries, he'd done all this research, and then he said he had watched every episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. And he said, every Sunday I would have 8 friends over and we would watch Ru. That's my life outside of this play. I'm a gay man right now, just without the physical act. That's all. A lot of people in the LGBTQI community were like, it's not about RuPaul.
It's not about RuPaul. And I will say that the lived experience of being a gay man, of walking down the street holding hands with your boyfriend, even in, the most progressive countries in the world, it can be really dangerous. I don't think I know any gay man who hasn't experienced homophobia. I will say I do not know a gay man who has not watched RuPaul's Drag Race.
I know. And that is
Two things can be true.
It's art.
Yes.
Now, they did say it's quite a reductive way to look at our identity. But in an article in The Guardian, a journalist argued it's not quite as bad as it sounds because Garfield was saying that in the context of saying that when he was offered the role, he struggled with the fact that he felt like he had no right to play that character. And he clearly wasn't ignorant of what he was doing, and he did a whole lot of research. He also played a Jesuit priest in a 2016 movie called Silence, and he did all this research and learned about the Jesuit lifestyle. So his idea of method is obviously not like you embody
Jim Carrey.
It's not Jim Carrey. It's just like you do a whole lot of research so that you really feel like you know the character.
Oh, that's not method.
Well,
that's just research.
Well, he says there have been a lot of misconceptions about what method acting is. He said it's not about being an asshole to everyone on set. It's actually about living truthfully under imagined circumstances and being really nice to the crew simultaneously and being a normal human being and being able to drop it when you need to and staying in it when you want to stay in it.
Tell Jared Leto that.
Well, he said, I'm kind of bothered by the misconception. I'm bothered by this idea that method acting is fucking bullshit. Why did he go on this rant about method acting?
Because he met Jim Carrey.
Of Robert Pattinson.
Who's one of his friends?
Yeah, but Robert Pattinson was being really dirty on method acting.
Was he?
Yeah, so Pattinson, who has also tried and practiced this technique, claimed...
But they are... When I read about the Guy Gang...
Yeah.
I'm putting it together. It was Jamie Dornan, it was Eddie Redmayne, and it was Robert Pattinson, which surprised me.
He was the one who said actors try this approach when portraying asshole characters. And he's said,
not wrong, though.
No, he said, I always say about people who do method acting, you only ever see people do the method when they're playing assholes.
It's true.
I need to know when you're on stage and when you're off stage. I need to know that between action and cut, that's the thing. That's the safe space. I need to know there's a cut coming and then I'll feel safe. It just feels like you can't get out. That's when you go crazy.
I think that these two men are in agreement.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Who have we had on the podcast? So we've done Jim Carrey, Jared Leto.
Yep.
Both method actors.
I think Leo goes a little bit method. Who was
the
stanky?
other one is
Jude Law.
Jude Law. Yes, he went stanky.
Yeah.
And then Joaquin Phoenix is also known as a method actor, but we haven't done him on the show before, but maybe we will.
Because there was that stunt.
There was that stunt.
That I don't think anyone understands, including him.
Yeah,
Jesse?
I think we thought we'd understand it later, and we don't.
No. Moving on to why we're all here, and meet cute times 2. Finally, we get to talk about Amelia Dimoldenberg and Andrew Garfield. Now, for those unaware, Amelia Dimoldenberg is a British comedian who is the creator and host of the web series Chicken Shop Date.
She's been doing it for 10 years.
She has. During the dates, she interviews celebrities in fried chicken restaurants with her very specific style of humour, and the idea is that they are interviews framed as dates. She is known for asking bizarre questions and leaning into the awkwardness of these interactions. Because of the viral success of Chicken Shop Date, she's interviewed people like Jennifer Lawrence, Paul Mescal, Lewis Capaldi, Phoebe Bridgers, and she's done presenting work on red carpets. And during one of those red carpet events, she met a certain Andrew Garfield. Have you seen this video?
Yeah, Claire, have I seen this video? Yes.
Well, in an interview for British GQ, she interviews Garfield. And she is very surprised and excited when he knows who she is.
I think you're great.
What?
Yeah, I think you're great.
Do you know who I am? You're kidding me.
You're
kidding me.
Chicken shop thing.
No.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get a date with you for a while.
I have not got the memo.
I'm asking that right now.
But you do date a lot of people.
Yeah.
She says he looks good and he says she looks beautiful.
I'm giving you a compliment. You look really good. Just take the compliment. And
I'll take the compliment.
I can't
You
wait
look
for
lovely as well.
our
You look very
date. Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yes.
What is,
It's a dress.
But it's like kind of leathery ropes.
It's made of rubber.
Rubbery ropes.
Wow, okay.
As he's leaving, he's like, lovely to meet you. And then he kind of hovers and he says, seriously, lovely to meet you.
Yeah, I've never seen more chemistry between two people.
Because, he says, lovely to meet you. Because it's weird what you do. Weird as in good. And I appreciate you.
Yeah, lovely to meet you. Seriously, lovely to meet you.
Yeah, seriously, love to meet you.
No, brilliant, because it's weird what you do. It's
Is
like
it?
weird as in good. It's very specific what you do.
Yeah, no, I know.
And like unique in that really great way. And I appreciate
I appreciate you.
Enjoy.
Bye. See ya.
Fuck, if
That is
someone
the
said that to
hottest
me,
compliment. If somebody looked at me and said,
it's
you're
weird,
weird.
what you do.
You're weird and I like it. I'd be like, I feel so seen.
I feel seen. I feel like I'm finally understood.
Yeah. It is weird.
And it is what she does. It is
And
very weird what she does.
You know the other thing? The reason I feel it's weird what we do.
It is. It is.
What we do is weird.
It's weird what he does.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird what he does.
Oh, what's the hardest thing you've ever gone through? I was a bad spider.
Yeah.
Weird.
No one understands.
Yeah.
No one understands. They vibed and the chemistry was there. Then they see each other at the Golden Globes. And they're giggling straight away. There's this moment of recognition. And
she very rarely breaks. So it's a big deal.
She breaks around him.
Yeah, she breaks around him.
And she sees him and he has a joke about like, oh, you saw me and like winced. And she's like, no, I didn't. I saw it. Like, she's like, oh.
Yeah.
Now, she says we must stop meeting like this. And he says,
I only ever want to see you.
what?
That's not the end of the sentence. That's not the end of the sentence. I only ever want to see you in these kinds of situations.
What about other kinds of situations?
Not interested. I
I was going to invite you to my birthday party.
When's your birthday party?
The 30th of January.
What astrological sign are you?
I'm an Aquarius. That's your moon.
If you have a sun sign that's the same as the moon sign of someone else,
It's not good.
no, it's good.
Oh, it's good?
Yeah.
Why is that an issue?
Well, because I don't think we should explore this.
Okay, well, I'm not even asking to.
I know, but I'm just like,
You're the one who's obsessed with
stating-
You're obsessed with me.
That's what I'm saying. I'm scared of what it could turn into.
Okay.
And I'm not ready
It
for
would
that
be
kind
too
of
much.
thing. I'm not ready for it.
Oh, okay. Well, I am.
She's like, you're obsessed with me.
Yes, correct.
She starts asking a serious question. And he's like, you're not going to ask a serious question right now. And she's like, yes, I am. And he can't keep a straight face. And he's like, are you seriously going to ask this? And she's asking about, like, you play a lot of religious role.
No
Anyway.
one cares, mate. Just go on a date.
So then-
just hump, stick it in.
Yes. Then he's like, no, go ask your question. And she's clearly so flustered that it's just a statement. This is her question. She's like, you play lots of religious characters. And he's like, that's not a question. And then she looks at him and goes, why? And it's just a vibe.
Yeah,
It's just a vibe.
Yeah.
So that is 2 meet cutes.
Yeah.
Which
2
is
from 2.
the perfect
Which is how
recipe
we all
for a rom-com.
imagine it's going to go when
Mhm.
we find ourselves on a red carpet with a microphone.
Yes.
And we sit there and we go, when he walks past,
He is going to go, oh my
Oh my
God, it's the love of my life.
you're beautiful.
I
And
have
instead what happens is you say, can we speak to this person? And they say, no, he doesn't want to speak to you. And you go, I'm going to cry.
How lovely. Now, the reason we can't look away is because there is something slightly uncomfortable about it.
Yeah.
It's awkward.
Yeah.
But is that because they're truly in love?
Yes.
Which takes us to the most romantic date of all time.
I think we'd have a really nice time without the camera. I think we'd just enjoy each other's company. Or maybe not. Fuck it.
Jess, have you watched the date?
I haven't watched the date in full. Not yet. I've only watched clips. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
Because I've been on Beyonce TikTok.
I know. Now, the clips you've seen, what's your vibe?
There is just so much chemistry. And I can tell that Andrew Garfield is clearly like, would we be on a date? If it weren't for all this, all these lights and
Cameras.
all these people here, would you really go on a date with me? And she's clearly like, well, I don't know, because she's trying to like act cool. It's like, is anything said? No. Is he interviewed? Absolutely not. Do we get anything out of it? No. Only vibes.
Only vibes.
And I've never got more.
Okay, I'm going to do a recap.
Okay.
It's an 11-minute video.
Wow.
I've watched it several times.
Okay.
They're at Sam's, the home of great tasting chicken.
Yes. She loves like a chicken nugget.
I have more comments about Sam later on.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of B-roll of Sam's throughout.
Well, I would imagine that they've like given free chicken.
Yeah. They begin by making a joke that the vibes were so strong he was avoiding her for 2 years after those red carpet interactions.
So hot.
Yeah. He says, I don't like games, Amelia. Don't say her name. It's disquieting.
Yeah.
It makes me feel funny when you say her name.
Well, you know why they couldn't go on this date? Because he had a girlfriend.
He had a girlfriend. And is it a coincidence that they've only gone on this date now that he and the girlfriend have broken up?
I think not.
No. She's like, are your spidey senses tingling right now? And he's like,
hot.
You get one of those and no more.
But then
And
she
it's
wanted
like-
another one.
And it's like, yeah, he wants real talk because he wants to connect with you emotionally.
Yeah.
She asks him, snog, marry, avoid. Toby Maguire, Tom Holland, Amelia Dimoldenberg.
I love it.
And he's like, I don't want to avoid anyone, but I guess you. And she's like, what? And he looks at her and says,
This is called flirting.
So hot.
why am I smiling? Why am I blushing? As an aside, I want to go to Sam's.
Okay.
The chips look good.
Do they look good?
As does the soft drink. It looks chilled appropriately.
Does it look like that they would have extra chicken salt?
I get to this later on, but yes.
Okay. All right,
They're
cool.
having ginger beer. And I think she says during it that she doesn't like ginger beer. Anyway, she asks, do you kiss on a first date? And then she glances at the camera. She breaks the fourth wall. There's then footage of the person working there trying to stand the little packet of chips up on the like silver tray, and they keep falling down.
Okay.
And I'm like, whoever has edited this is a creative genius. He says he thinks it's sexy and really hot that she goes for what she wants in terms of dating. And she says, that's what I think. She's like, sometimes I worry about how much I get rejected, but I put myself out there more than everyone else. That's why I get rejected so much.
Correct.
He gives her a high five for her courage.
Love it.
He's like, what do you try and do to make it happen romantically? And she's like, you just try to get with them. And then he does an impersonation of her physically trying to get with someone. And she's like, exactly, but she's actually laughing. She's actually...
And she never laughs.
does not break.
She never
She does
laughs.
not break. And she's like, no, that's funny. She asks if he has ever been on a date to see his own movie. His answer is no. Actually, well, he pretends yes, then he says no. He's aware of all her moves. Like, he's kind of like analysing her as she goes.
Yeah.
And she says, I knew you'd do this. She says it's fun. He's like, does it frustrate you?
Oh.
And stop flirting. She says, I like it because it's funny someone seeing what I do. And he says, and naming it. Okay, this is so mad.
Okay, this is just basically like 50 Shades.
He then says,
the dialogue.
He then says, and you go slightly red.
Oh,
and
shit.
she's like, what? She goes slightly red. Now back to Sam's. Sam's chicken is giving KFC.
Is it? Is
They
it?
show the menu board.
Oh.
And they have chicken burgers with cheese and Pepsi Max.
Oh.
In little boxes. It looks really good.
Does it?
Yeah, genuinely great ad for Sam's. If anyone lives near Sam's, can you let me know?
And in terms of the chips, what's the thickness? It looks like a KFC
they're
chip,
really
not a
good.
McDonald's
They're really
chip.
good. They're,
Okay.
I'd say they're between a McDonald's chip and a KFC chip, maybe not quite as thick as KFC chips,
Okay.
but looks excellent.
And can you see the salt?
No, but the crispiness of the chicken suggests that there's chicken salt.
I understand.
He asks how her 30th was because on the red carpet she had made a joke about her 30th. And she's like, did you like being 30? Can you remember? Because he's in his early 40s. So
Okay.
it's like, haha, you're old.
Yeah.
And he's like, bitch. He says, you're funny, you're a funny person. And she says, you're funny too. And he says, you're funnier. Oh.
And then she accepts it, which I love.
Why is this the biggest compliment? He's like, I appreciate that quality in you and in a date. She's like,
I think that there's something going on.
Do you actually think that?
No,
or
no.
is this for the...
I do think it's interesting that we...
If this wasn't here, do you think we'd actually have it go on a date? Do you think this has fucked up the fact that we could have actually gone on a date at some point? Maybe.
he's like, I actually believe maybe we could have without all of this.
But why is he talking in past tense?
No,
They're both
because
single.
It changes.
Okay.
She says he's afraid of it.
Okay, I love it. That's so hot.
He says, I'm a very private person in my private life. She says, I'm more private than you, actually. Have you ever seen me with anyone? And he says, that doesn't mean you're private. It just means you're not with anyone.
Which was a real neg.
Yeah.
And it was also like, I just wanted to come in and go, it's also because she's not nearly as famous as you. I don't think she's being papped.
No. Also, it's her job to go on dates.
Yeah.
He asks, do you want to be married? Do you want to have children?
Yeah, I
like
this
what are your
question.
ultimate longings?
I love that.
They're proper chatting. He refers to it as an interview, and she's like, stop calling it an interview. It's a date. She asks, so you've been nominated for an Oscar. You've not won. When are you going to win an Oscar?
Love.
Which is exactly what you want to ask everyone. Hey, why haven't you won one of them big awards?
Yeah.
He says, like, oh, I wanted to win and now, like, I don't know, maybe it's just not going to happen. And she says, probably when you stop caring is when it will happen. Apparently, that's what happens with love as well. Then she says, that's why I've been so relaxed today because I've actually just given up. He says, I don't think you can give up with intention.
Love.
He says, would you be more attracted to me if I had an Academy Award? And she says, yeah. And he's like, fuck, my longing is back for it. She says,
that sounds valid.
it's okay. You're already kind of hot. He says, I think we'd have a really nice time without the camera. We'd enjoy each other's company.
Okay.
And she's like, you have my number. And he's like, do I? And she's like, yes, you asked for my number at a party. And he says, I did. He says, this should be a practice round.
Then what? Is this just a shtick? Are we just being set up here? Because I don't have time for it. I don't have time to get this invested in something.
No. But for 11 minutes straight, I simply smiled at my screen.
One of those people is a method actor, so we'll just write him off.
Yeah.
The other one has a shtick but isn't a method actor.
And the thing is that in this date, she breaks. She never
So what do we know
breaks.
about what's happened since?
Oh, we don't.
Okay. All right. Things are
private.
quiet. All right.
But what we do have is reactions.
All right. My head, they're performers. My heart, they're soulmates. That's exactly how I feel.
That's exactly it. What are some of the comments?
This one has 13.3 thousand likes. I'm telling my kids this is the royal couple. Love. More chemistry, I'll tell you that.
Because they're British too.
Yeah. This has 7,500 likes. I am not even being remotely dramatic when I say this is the greatest 11 minutes and 40 seconds of media I have ever consumed. I actually completely agree. And then someone who's a brand well played, has written, so when's chicken shop wedding?
Yeah. They need a wedding in a chicken shop.
Imagine getting catered from a chicken shop, how happy your guest would be.
Great meals for a wedding.
There is a Instagram comment that says, no, you don't understand. I've had this on loop for an hour straight and I can't stop smiling and blushing.
Yes.
I think people are getting physical reactions to this.
Hard relate. Now, can you describe the text and the expression in this meme?
We've got a shocked cat and it says, it's called flirting, Amelia. It's called flirting.
And the cat is so shooken.
And then we've got, this is a tweet, Chicken Shop Date 2024, starring Andrew Garfield and Amelia Dimoldenberg is the best rom-com of the year.
It's so true. It's got all the tension. It's got all the stakes. It's just bloody beautiful.
Are you going to bring the witch to the table or am I going to bring the witch to the table?
What witch?
Oh my gosh. You forgot about the witch.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield dated a witch.
Oh, no.
So her name is Kate Tomas. She's an academic. She has a PhD. So that's Dr. Kate Tomas to you. She's a doctor in being a witch. She's not technically a doctor in being a witch. That is unrelated. Dr. Kate Tomas describes herself as a professional witch and spiritual mentor.
Mm-hmm.
She has a PhD in theology from Oxford.
From the podcast I've listened to with him, from the little research I have done into him, the fact that he would date someone with a PhD does not surprise me. Continue.
Yeah. So basically they were photographed out with Bo Burnham and Phoebe Bridgers. I think maybe he was doing the Broadway version of Inside, like Bo Burnham's Inside. I think I
didn't know that was on Broadway.
I might have read that. I might have not. Who knows?
Okay.
They're photographed.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens is on Instagram, someone comments on one of her posts being like, tell Andrew Garfield I love him or something. And she's like, we're actually not dating anymore, but he'd love to know that, right?
See, he's always on good terms with his exes.
Do you want to know why they broke up?
Why?
So she has been posting a lot of stuff since October 7, right? And she said, like, if you have a public platform, I really think you need to post and you're being a coward and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people went, this is awkward because Andrew Garfield is not posting.
Yep.
And then there was an article that went up that was like, we think the reason that they've broken up is because of he's not politically progressive enough for her. And then she screenshot that article and put it in her stories with a tick next to it, is why they broke up.
But then in the last few weeks, he was interviewed in a very public situation.
Yes.
And he brought up Palestine.
He did. Exactly right.
And a lot of people said it's easy to look at this and think it's not a lot.
Yeah.
But in the context of Hollywood, it actually is.
Yeah.
So he has kind of started speaking
since
up.
Since they've split. Very, very interesting.
Oh, very interesting.
And she got ruthlessly trolled because she was dating Andrew Garfield and she wasn't a famous person. So I think a lot of people were making fun of her being a witch.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, let her be a witch, you know.
Yeah. I want a friend who's a witch.
Me too.
Jessie, it's time for charges and sentences. My charge. This is serious.
All right.
He's flirting with us.
What?
He's flirting with us.
No,
all of us.
he's not. He's flirting with Amelia specifically.
No, he's flirting with me and the date made me feel weird.
Yeah.
In my spidey senses.
All right. You felt tingled.
I felt tingles in the spaces.
In your web hump.
In the spaces where the web emerges from. There's something quite sexual about the web.
I think that there's something
emerging from an
deeply
orifice.
Freudian about our obsession with Spiderman and how we put white jizz-like stuff on walls and then chase it. So you like it?
I'm married with a child.
Okay. What's your sentence?
Well, if you won't date me,
date Amelia.
Yeah. I genuinely think watching the response to this, I know it's like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Oh, he's an actor. She knows what she's doing. This is her bit. Rah, rah, rah.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a very divided world where things are quite heavy.
Yeah.
What we need is to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And to be included.
Yes.
And involved.
Yeah.
I need this to work so that we can be part of a journey together as a culture.
Yeah. In the chicken shop.
Because I think the journey of having watched them meet on a red carpet twice and then knowing that he asked for her number at a party and then literally watching.
Don't you feel a bit left out by that point? We weren't there at the party, and that pisses me off because I feel like we should have been there.
For some reason, and this may not be true, I feel like it was the after party of one of the awards shows. I don't know why. That's what I feel.
That's fine.
And so I'm like, well, I guess it was slightly off camera, but we saw you earlier in the day.
Okay, yeah.
So I genuinely think it would make us all feel very included.
Mm.
And I think Amelia Dimoldenberg, there's actually something quite profound about what she does.
Mm.
In that I think she represents
the every girl.
All the funny, weird girls who felt like when we went on dates, guys didn't get our jokes. And that maybe they were just kind of looking at us up and down and wondering why we
didn't look like Adriana Lima.
Yeah.
There was a bit of that.
Yeah. And I think there's something quite healing about watching a man value a woman for her sense of humour, especially when that sense of humour is weird as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
And not everyone gets it.
Yeah, and she doesn't speak to him like a celebrity. That's what I love. Is that she just puts them all down and she's like, try and impress me.
And it's genuinely really funny.
It is really funny. It's so good.
My sentence is I need them to get married. And I need it to be...
The issue is, Claire, if they get married, there's no more fucking chicken shop. I'll tell you that. Because no more dates because she's married. Unless they're polyamorous or something.
Never. There's actually do talk about monogamy in the interview. He asks if she wants to be monogamous, and I don't know if she directly... She says she's not fussed about marriage or children. I think she just wants a partner.
Interesting. She's tried hard.
Yeah. I want it to be a royal wedding.
Yeah. Right.
I want it to have all the trimmings.
The trimmings.
Of a royal
they've
wedding.
got accents.
With a reception in a chicken shop. Continue.
Love. Okay. My charge, and it has been a recurring theme, and it's probably the only thing we can charge him with in terms of guilt. Not being spidery enough. And he has been punished for that.
Yeah. In that he lost his bloody job.
He lost his job. My sentence is his proximity to a witch is something that I'm not benefiting enough from. If my friend said, I dated a witch for a few years.
More content out of that.
I have some questions.
Yeah.
I think witchcraft is a little bit like dating a magician.
Okay.
In terms of tell me how he does the trick.
Yeah.
So does she do potions?
Yep.
You know how in the movie Witches, she doesn't have any toes. She just has a square foot.
Is that a thing?
Does she just have a square foot?
Yep.
This is what we need to know.
Yep.
Does she have a cauldron? Like I have all of those questions because Kate Tomas, you have to do a 6-month commitment with her if you want to work with her as like a witch doctor, and she will charge you $8,000 a month. So what's 8,000 times 6? That's a lot. It's like $50,000. I don't know. I'm feeling quite confident about that estimation.
I'm so confused about a witch doctor.
Yeah. She's a witch to the
but
stars.
It's weird because she is a doctor, but not in doctoring.
No.
Not in doctoring.
She did like mysticism or something.
Yeah.
So she's really smart, but she's a witch. And I just think he could dish more on the witch thing.
Yeah.
If I was on a date with Andrew Garfield,
I'd be like, tell me about your ex. She sounds interesting.
She sounds very interesting.
Great point.
In the first sentence of Chicken Shop Date, he used the word curse, which made me worried for Amelia.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it did.
She is that ex is going to put a bit of a curse on Amelia.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, wow. Great point. Jessie, I have a lazy girl story for us to round out the show.
Okay.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl.
This is from Katie. Hey there. I have a lazy girl take for you. We all know about the lazy girl tax.
Yes.
Talked about the lazy girl tax before. She said, like the time I left $50 on a plane and couldn't be bothered calling to see if they'd found it.
Well, you know what I did is I left my AirPods on a plane and I did call to see if they could find it, and I think they called back, but I didn't answer.
Oh, because unknown number.
Unknown number. Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm not just going to answer some random number, and I've lost my AirPods and they're worth like $200.
Yeah, not going to buy another pair. She said, but being a lazy girl sometimes pays off too. Like the time I had to quit my job but procrastinated and they ended up making everyone redundant. So I got 6 weeks pay to not work, in brackets, ultimate lazy girl hack.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl. That's actually genius.
Redundancy is such a lazy girl hack.
It's such a lazy girl
Just wait.
hack.
If you wait around enough, you'll probably be made redundant.
Yeah.
You actually will.
Yeah.
And you get paid for not working.
And that's honestly like...
The greatest gift?
No, I just think in a lazy girl's life, there is no better period than when she is not working, yet she is still being paid as salary and benefits and sick leave. Lazy girls should be able to live a life of redundancy.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Cancelled. Cancelled is produced by Kimberley Braddish with audio production by Leah Porges. If you have a minute, leave us a 5-star review. We would like that. Some of the reviews are mean. We like nice reviews. Okay, lovely. We'll be back next week. Bye. Bye.